Hello, and welcome to what could very well be my first ever YouTube video. Today I'm going to build a secret base in Minecraft, a simple secret base. I'll include some stuff like a basic secret door and a few other fun features that you will find out along the way. So without further ado, let's get started. I will begin our base by creating a Jeb Door, which is, some of you may be familiar with it, but it's a door that will line up with any wall and makes a pretty good secret entrance. I'm creating this with the intention that most of you guys will be somewhat familiar with redstone. Basically, what this door will do is we have these back pistons, which will push all of our blocks out. And then this piston will push it forward, putting it flush with the rest of this wall. Just a couple of blocks. And this should be all we need for the first half. So when we turn on the lever, it'll power those back pistons. And then when it extends out, then this piston will be powered by the redstone above, and it will push out and close in our door. Then when we unpower it, this turns off first, and the repeater adds a little bit of delay so that the back pistons turn off second, meaning that it can all pull back. And that appears to be working, so I'll just go ahead and copy it on the other side here. There we go. We should have a fully functioning secret door. All we need to do is make it a little bit more secret, because having a giant hole in the wall isn't very secret. That looks a little bit better. So with our door in place, now we need some way to actually trigger our door. There's a couple ways we can do this, but I think I'm going to make use of the observer here. I think this should work. We have a piston here, which will pull the block back underneath, and it will be converted to dirt. But now we have our observer, which should be able to detect. I actually need to move that up one block. When our grass path gets converted from the grass block. Normally, an observer's output is too short to change redstone torch to get it to turn off. So we actually need to add a repeater, and hopefully this block should retract. Now we have encountered a little bit of a problem because the observer is detecting when the block gets pushed and pulled, and it's kind of creating a feedback loop. But we'll worry about that in just a little bit. We need to get that output over here. I'll use our orange wool. So we're going to need to actually increase the length of the pulse even longer. Unfortunately, the observer feedback loop kept causing problems, so I had to try a different method. So normally, grass blocks are full blocks, and they'll let redstone power pass through them. Like this torch is powering that block above, and so we have our power. We can take an output from it. But when we convert it into a path, we don't actually get that power anymore. That seems to be working. So we can put our pulse extender down here. After a little bit of redesign, I've been able to make it so that when we till our soil, the door will open up for a little bit and then close back up. We do need a way to activate it from the inside. We can just use a note block and observer. The way that works is when you right-click a note block, the observer can also detect that, like so. I think this should work. Ooh, it's a little bit fast though. There we go. Lasts long enough for us to get through without having to worry about getting crushed. Well, that seems to be working pretty well. And now we can move on to the next part of our base. Next up is going to be some sort of storage system. I constructed a small room to begin our base in. And now we can start adding in some of our other planned additions. First off, we're going to have a little bit of a storage area. What we can do, have a couple of chest wall type things. And also have some indicator lights. Kinda want to put them like that. I'll see what we can do. Now I'll use some hoppers so that we can automatically fill these. Start with our bottom row here and put that directly into our light there. Now if I put an item in, it's lit up. That seems to be working. Now I gotta find out how to power it using a second light in a different way. Ooh. Maybe that'll work. That is excellent. Now as our storage system fills up, the lights should turn on, indicating which ones are empty and which ones actually have items in them. So I'm going to go ahead and build up the rest of the lighting controller. That should do it. Let's test it. Oop. Alrighty, storage system complete, and our indicator lights appear to be working as well. Now we just need some way to put items in there without having to do it all ourselves. So we'll need a hopper to take items out of the chest, and a dropper to drop them as physical items into the world. There we go. Now we can use the same redstone comparator that we used before to detect if there's any items in here and cause the dropper here to spit them out. There we go. It spat out our item. And if we put more in, it should spit them all out. And turn off automatically once there's nothing else inside. That way it doesn't make horrible clicking noises whenever we're in our base. Because the hopper here, if we put our items in the chest, and they'll flow into the dropper and be spat out into our item stream. Now, if I put an item into the dropper, it should drop out, flow over to our soul sand, and come all the way up the elevator to here. Yep, there's our comparator all the way up here. After a slight redesign, you should see the items going across now. And most of them are getting picked up by this first hopper here. Any ones that don't, go zooming all the way over here to that one. Looks a little bit funny, but it shouldn't be a problem. So sometimes it can pick up too many items at once. And then it gets a little bit disrupted. But if I put the hopper facing the side instead of straight down, I think we should stop getting items in this top chest until the rest of them have filled up. Item putter inner guy all finished up, and we're getting our items in our storage system without actually having to put them in ourselves, which is pretty nice. Next up on the list was some sort of farm. We plant our crop on top, and it will get automatically bone mealed by a couple of dispensers. When we pull back the piston, the crop will break. But we do need a little bit of water. Hopefully we don't have any more spills like last time. Oh, and we immediately have a spill. Hopefully this doesn't turn back into dirt. Oh man, it does. Maybe we can have the piston push our crop up instead to break it. Maybe something like that to dispense the bone meal. I relocated the dropper circuit a little bit Now we can use hoppers underneath here without too much problem. Hold on. If items are on top of this, yes, they do get picked up. Okay. Well, that's useful. That's very useful. We just have like a trapdoor here. Let our seeds like that, and it'll grow up, and the drops will go into the hoppers beneath. Okay, this could work. And some bone meal lab here. And some redstone there. Does that work? There's a bunch of carrots in here. I need to make this a little bit more compact so that we don't see the target block. Put a redstone torch. And this should still work. See how this works with some of the other crops too. No! Oh, we have to have some sort of water source. Recently we got mangrove, and that can actually hold a water source all in itself. So you could just like sit here and get a bajillion carrots. Yes! Okay, that's working. Nice. Oh. And instead it pulls it back when it's time. I forgot to put bone meal. Our seed reactor is done. It will automatically grow and harvest the crops and put them directly into our storage system for us, which is pretty useful. All I have to do is make it look pretty. I actually quite like that. We just gotta give it a little bit of texturing. I'd say that's a pretty neat room. Let's see, what else do we have to do? We have our door, our storage system, and our farm. So now I think what I'm going to do is build our second room over here. Looks pretty fancy. So let's see, obviously we're going to need some pistons down at the bottom. I'll start building some basic double piston extenders down here. So it's actually a whole block lower than we need it to be. So I guess I'm gonna like push it up and then pull it back down. And to push it back down, we just go like that. Maybe we can squeeze one more block out of it. Have to do a bit of terraforming up top. I'm sort of tempted to do some sort of flying machine slime block shenanigans, but that may not be possible with such a confined space. So that's 10 blocks already, not including observers. Maybe we can make use of honey blocks? I'll use magenta wool for up here. Might be onto something here. I don't know, we'll see what happens with it. Okay. I could do something. I think I might I have an idea. I put redstone here and have that one activate second, right? Ooh. Oh, I think that's worked. That has worked. Now I just have to figure out how to do something similar down here. I think that's gonna end up leaving that powered. Yes. Yes, it is. Okay. So what was it, like this, I think? We had some torches. And then when we ran redstone across here. Not quite sure if this is going to work either. But we'll find out. We do need the observers to get that second pulse to pull all the things down. Move that down a block. And yes. Yes. Okay. All right. That is excellent news. Yep. So that one works like that, and this one works like that. Now all I have to do is connect them up and find some way to trigger it. So the redstone work behind the scenes for the door all done. Can now open and close, depending on how the redstone is toggled. Now I think I should be able to put the note block directly into the wall there. We can... It is working! Our gate is finally working. So our gate has been all completed. Activating it from this note block here. And we can actually do that from both sides. And honestly, I think it's pretty cool. This... I haven't made anything like this before. I could watch this thing for hours. But we do have the rest of the base to build. In fact, so we have our gate now. We just need, let's see, we need a crafting area, bed, our cozy campfire, furnace array, and a clock. For some reason, I really want to put in like a dirt area around the campfire. I'm not really sure, it just feels right. So, we'll go with our campfire here. I'm going to need 2 dispensers for our campfire to be automatically toggled by redstone. Now I think maybe some bricks would look nice around it. That looks pretty good. I actually have a cool idea. What if we used a note block as our nightstand? And if we right click on the note block, it will toggle our fire. The flint and steel we only have to do once because it'll just immediately activate, but the water we have to do it twice so that it puts the water on the campfire and then takes it back so it doesn't spill everywhere. Like that. Then we have that one there, that one there, that one there. Then we do actually get an output. So if I have some way of wrapping that around. Now let's try it. So it looks like it, maybe a little bit more delay. Ooh, that sounded promising. Fire on, fire off. Now, what about if we try triggering it here? That appears to be working. I'll make the bed look a little bit nicer. So we now have our bed done and our campfire done. So all we need is a crafting area, a furnace, and some sort of clock. Oh dear. We need an enchanting table. That's the biggest thing that takes up space. So I'm gonna build it first. Now if we have bookshelves all around, I think that gives us the maximum power. Yep, that looks like it's worked. So we can have some sort of like pop-up bookshelf thingy. That would be fun. I'm just looking for excuses to redstonize things, because that makes it more interesting. Fortunately, bookshelves have the same top texture as wood planks, so we can actually just kind of hide them in the floor here and have them pop out with not very much effort at all. What we could do maybe is put an observer with facing a note block underneath and then connecting that up. There we go, that looks pretty fancy. If we stand close, we have our bookshelves pop up. I like that. I want this note block to deliver us lapis. I have a dropper here, and I fill that with the lapis. An observer. I think this should work. Now we just have to add the other kinds of crafting things. Now which ones do we want to have switch out? See, I think I'll have our super smelters on top here. Fuel flows in through the side, the items to be smelted go in through the top, and then the hoppers at the bottom take the output. I think what we're going to want to do is have a block of redstone that gets moved back and forth. Just do something like that. Oh dear. I think that should work. Now I just need to build up the second one. Pressing the note block should switch them out. Yep, they're the mostly not suspicious hillside. There we go. Our super smelters are working. Our block swappers are working. Our lapis dispensing note block is working. And our secret enchanting bookshelves are also working. Base is mostly done. Let's see. We have a door. We have storage area. We have a farm. We have crafting tables. We have our gate in the middle. Our beds. Campfire. Furnace. So a clock. I think I'm going to put some lights there and use some light blue glass to make it seem a little bit like it's turning day inside of our little house. Now we just need it to actually turn on. Might be able to hide it in this tree here. Oh dear, I think the tree is decaying. That's not good. May need a bigger tree. So what I'm thinking here is some sort of like relay system where when the daylight detector activates, it'll push the logs down, which we can detect, and then when it somehow we get it to push back up. Daytime. Nighttime. I actually want to see how this correlates to being able to sleep in a bed. We sleep in it. Now our lights are on. Cannot sleep in a bed. So go nighttime. Oh, I can already sleep in it. Huh. finally we have a huge tree. Move that one further block away. But there we go. Now we have our secret daylight thingy inside, our clock in the roof. It turns on and off with the day-night cycle. So when I wake up, it should turn back on the lights. Hey, the lights are on. And if I set the time to later, I should see them turn off here. There we go. They've turned off. And we can sleep. It actually works surprisingly well. Now that our secret base is all done, let's take a tour. Walking by the outside of the hill gives no indication that there's a secret base hidden within, but if we do know where to look, we can turn this grass or dirt block into path and open up the secret entrance, which automatically closes up behind us to prevent anyone from sneaking in. Then we have access to all the fun gadgets inside, including our automatic storage system and its very own light display, which tells us which chests actually have items in them, so we don't have to go rifling through all the chests with the lights off. Then we've got our plant reactor guy here, which will instantly grow and harvest any kind of plant that we put inside, although it only really works with wheat, carrots, and potatoes. But it automatically puts everything into our storage system for us. We also have this emergency hoe in case something happens to the farmland there. Then we have our fancy partition here, which is activated by this note block, and it can be accessed from both sides. It's maybe not the most practical thing, but honestly, it's my favorite part of the base. Then we have our campfire here, which adds some ambience, but we can also turn it on and off, just using our note block here by our bed. Next up is our crafting area. We have everything from a loom to a crafting table to a fletching table to a composter to a cartography table, and we can actually switch out a couple of them for a stone cutter and our smithing table as well. Then we have our furnace array with our input, our fuel input, and our output down here at the bottom. Then, if we want to enchant something and no crafting area is complete without an enchanting table, we can just pop up a bunch of bookshelves, which bring this enchanting table up to full power. But if you've forgotten the lapis, you can just hit this little note block right here, and it'll dispense lapis directly to you. And we can get on with our enchanting. Nice. And we also have our anvil stack here in case we want to rename our tools. Last but not least, we have our virtual daylight display, which tells us if it's day or night without even having to leave. We go ahead and set the time to night. You'll see that the lights turn off, indicating that we can sleep. And once we wake up and it's daytime again, the lights automatically turn back on, which is pretty fancy. Way cooler than having a clock and an item frame on the wall. And the best part is, all the redstone is hidden in a tree above ground, so it's very unlikely that people will even find it. And to get out of our base, all we have to do is hit this note block, opening our secret door once again, and it'll close up behind us. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video as much as I enjoyed making it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!